If I changed and I think that maybe you can too, and I don't know what you think about women's wrestling, and I guess I don't care. That's your prerogative to think about it what you will. But I'm going to try to, I guess, give you some different viewpoints on it. Back in the spring of 2002, USAW Wrestling approached me about, actually, I was calling into them saying, can I get a letter of recommendation for some college jobs that were opened up. I was an assistant in Wisconsin at that time, and I was there for 6 years, and nothing was moving. It just wasn't, it was time to move on, and asked for a letter of recommendation for one of the college openings, and Rich Bender said, okay, but what do you think about this position? I said, what position? The women's national coach. Oh, Rich, I think you got the wrong guy. Well, what do you mean? Never even paid attention to it. It's not that I don't care for it. I don't like it, or I don't even have an opinion of it. Because I've never looked that way in a gym when it's been happening. And he said, will you listen to me? I said, I'll listen, but I said it reluctantly. You know, I go home, and it's the middle of the day, and I go home, my wife's at home, and I talk to her a little bit. I was like, listen to this one. I was talking to Bender about the letter of recommendation, and he said I should think about looking at this position. And she's like, yeah, so what? I was like, damn, she's no help. so then, you know, my brother, my best friend, been through hell and back with him, and I go over to his house, and I'm like, what do you think of this position? I said, you know, the only thing I ever wanted to do is be a college wrestling coach. And I guess my concern at that time was, like going to women's wrestling, there's so many coaches out there. I was worried about my peers. There's so many coaches out there that hate women's wrestling or have no time for it. The Title IX issue and all this. I'll be blackballed from college wrestling forever. And he said, well, college wrestling coaches aren't hiring, college administrators are. You know, and he said, they're going to want to see that you can work both sides of the coin. You can work with everyone. You can work. So I left there kind of frustrated too, because he was no help either, you know, to my thoughts. And so I really had to start thinking about it, you know. And so my first question back to myself was, okay, I'm 32 years old, I'm done wrestling, I'm done competing. Why am I doing this? Why am I in sport wrestling? Why am I still coaching? If it's for the fame, the wrong sport. Bad choice. If it's for the fortune, again, poor financial decision. Okay? I'm doing it, you know, and what it really came back to is I'm in the sport of wrestling, and I think I can answer maybe for most of you too, that we're probably in the sport of wrestling because it's given us something we can't get anywhere else. It's built character in us, it's built work ethic in us, it's built who we are as people. It's the essence of what we do. We believe in it. You know, it's not that winning every championship is the most important thing. I mean, yeah, we have the Olympic Games coming up, and they're pretty damn important. You know, we're expected to bring home medals. But if the only thing we ever do, the only thing I ever do as a national coach is come home with 4 Olympic medals, and in 10 years from now, I have 4 Olympic athletes that are failures in life, and I've failed miserably. And I think that's really why all of us are in it. I think we believe in the sport of wrestling. I think we believe in what it teaches us. I believe in what we believe in what it gives these people, and it's a tool to get across to kids. And if that's really why we're coaching, and I hope it is, okay, and I hope I can speak for all of us, if that's really why we're doing what we're doing, why does it make a difference if it's a man or a woman? Why are we trying to hold this to half the population? If it's so damn great, and we're going to give our lives to it, and put all of our energy into it, why are we going to limit it to half the population? You know, we have to look at it in a different way. And especially in a sport like wrestling that fights for everything, fights for media attention, struggles for sponsorship, struggles for corporate America, struggles for everything. How can inviting another half of the population into sport, how can it hurt them? I don't see it. I don't see how it can. And I just think that, that was really the question I had to ask myself. Why am I coaching? Then I had my answer. Well, okay, I'm coaching because I believe in the sport of wrestling. And what else can I go to? I don't know, I just couldn't come around. I just 100%, I just told Rich Benner, I said, if I can't come 100% at ease with it, I'm not doing it. And one night we're driving home and out to eat or something, and my wife says, I hate how you're thinking right now. I said, what do you mean? I'm just being honest. I just don't know if I can do this. And she said, she said I was a young girl she said late 60s, but she said early 70s now. But anyway, she said I was a young girl in the late 60s, and she said I was sitting in the high school gymnasium listening to people boo, ridicule, and harass. She said I was watching a girls' basketball game. She said, where do you think this is now? It's at the start of something. It's at the start. It's a male-dominated sport. All of a sudden, women want to be involved in it. Of course, there's going to be some people that don't believe in it, that don't see it, that don't understand it. Yet we'll go across town and drive our kid to a Taekwondo practice and not think twice about it. And our daughters too. Our karate class. And yet we put the word wrestling to it, and all of a sudden there's a stigma there. And I think that, and she said, furthermore, she said, we have a young daughter. She said, what if she wants to follow in your footsteps? Well, then it becomes personal. Then all of a sudden you're thinking about people out there ridiculing you for something you love to do. I mean, you look at these girls here, the girls that will retire after this Olympics. These girls are successful not for anything we've done for them. They're successful because they fell in love with the sport at a young age, just like most of us did, because we got drugged to a wrestling tournament. Our fathers were coaches, our brothers were wrestlers, whatever the reasons were all in it. They fell in love with it for the same reason, and all of a sudden people said they couldn't do it. And you get a group of strong individuals here that said, bullshit, we're doing it. So they've really got to the level they're at in spite of what we've done to help them. And they've fought their way through high school systems, they've fought their way through club situations, fought their way through college situations, and now there's starting to be some opportunities for them, but that was a long time coming. I don't know, I think the one thing we all want, it's not that every girl should wrestle, but every person should have the opportunity to wrestle if they want to. And that's the one thing, I think all of you agree with too, is, I know the one thing I was always given by my parents was opportunity. And that's the one thing we all want for everyone, is opportunity. If they want to do something and it's good for them and they can learn from it and grow from it, is everyone going to attain Olympic status and national status and all that? No. Okay? But they're probably going to be better for the sport, from being in it and being around it and being around you as individuals, as coaches, and giving them some guidance and direction. So I guess what I'm asking is, when you hear these conversations, and maybe I'm speaking to the choir, but you hear these conversations where people are bashing women's wrestling and talking bad about it or putting those comments in. Number one, either walk away from the conversation or change their minds. Give them some different viewpoints. I know how I was, I'll tell you. I just listened to the rest of the coaches, what they were saying about it, until I had to really think about it, until all of a sudden, Rich Bender's asking me to not just be his national coach, but his advocate. And I had to start thinking about it a lot deeper than what my buddy was saying when we were talking. And why we're doing it. And I think that if all of us do that, I think there's a lot of opportunity here that we can help this sport, not just women's wrestling, but wrestling in general. Look at what's just happening in the West Coast. We got Oregon dropping, we got threatening that ASU drops and they reinstate it. I think we're also in a situation where we start putting women's programs alongside men's programs that are already existing men's programs. It's going to be a lot harder for people to drop programs. when you're offering opportunities to both sides of the coin. You know, and some people will say, well, you have $1 million to spend on wrestling, and now half of it is going to women. I say, no, you have $1 million in wrestling when you have men's wrestling. You have women's wrestling, you have $2 million. You get more people involved, you get more people excited. I mean, I saw it at the University of Iowa. I mean, everyone's at that wrestling meet for a different reason. Some people are there to watch wrestling, some people are there to watch the cheerleaders, some people are there to listen to the band, some people are there just for the excitement of the event. And all of a sudden you throw 2 women's wrestling matches in there, or have 6 women's wrestling matches. You know, it's another reason for someone to be there, to get excited about it. It's another storyline. You know, and I just think that we can really help move our sport forward in a different direction. And it's not for everyone. Hey, it's not, maybe, hey, I don't mind it. I just don't want to coach women. It's your prerogative. You've chosen to maybe coach at a high school level instead of a college level. You've chosen to coach at a club level instead of a high school level. And it's different levels. This was the opportunity that was available for me at the time. I wanted to be a college coach, nothing was opening up. This opened up. I've coached high school level, I've coached club level, I've coached grassroots level, all that stuff. I never coached women before. It was a different opportunity. And I took it, and what I found, it's not much different. Wrestling is wrestling. Teaching is teaching, educating is educating, motivating is motivating. And building people's lives is building people's lives. And that's, again, hope. That's why we're all doing what we're doing as coaches in this sport. And technique is one thing, championships are another thing. And people successful in life is a whole other thing that we should all, and I'm sure we are all trying to achieve. So I just ask you, I guess, to look at that in a different light. If you haven't already, just take a look at it. You're going to see tomorrow, you're going to see some pretty good wrestlers. You're going to see Patricia Miranda. She's an excellent person, not just an excellent wrestler. She lives her life to excellence. I don't care what arena she's in. You're going to see someone that can do some wrestling technique, that understands the sport of wrestling. You're going to see, Christy Morano, who is now she finished nationals number 4 in our country. She's probably the best competitor I've ever been around. I don't care, man or woman. Now she's in a spot where she's number 4. We'll see what she has. But she's showing me that she's come through in a lot of attempts to do it. And she's been to the World Championships 9 times. She's left the World Championship 9 times with a medal. She's 9 for 9. Some pretty amazing individuals, and I think if you open your eyes to it tomorrow, you're going to be excited about it too, and not just be excited about the freestyle and the direct. So there's some good stories there, and some great individuals, and some great people to be around. So I hope that you guys can be those advocates out there. You guys can be those voices that stop the other voices in negative tones. When I talk to the girls, we talk a lot about it all the time. There's a lot of naysayers. You're in a men's sport. People aren't looking for a reason to support you. They're looking for the one reason not to. Don't give them the ammunition. Don't give it to them. You have to be better than good. You have to act appropriate on the mat, off the mat. Talk about a lot of them. It's their actions that are going to really sell it. But again, we can need the support out here to help that. Wrestling is wrestling.
Just my own comment. I run a club up. I always have 3-4 girls in it. Is I think most of the negativity comes because we don't have the numbers. Our women's program isn't where women compete against women. They always start, probably every one of your athletes started out in a club, at a high school event, competing against guys. And I'll tell you what I've seen my daughter wrestle for 7 years is, as I'm getting her ready, I'm hearing over the side, you better not lose to a girl. And all of a sudden, you got this dad attitude and ego where his whole fear is his son, who's probably doing, is going to lose to a girl.
Well, I think
You know, and that's where I think a lot of the hatred comes in.
well, there's no doubt it's threatening, you know. But let me, like, I think we need to turn in a different direction again. You know, there's no different. There's two things. You know, I thought I'd worked through all this before, and then okay, Rich, I'll take the job. So I get in there, and it's 2002 before the World Team Trials that year, and I never started until August, but I was in Colorado Springs looking for a house for a few days, and so the girls were going through a camp, so I figured I'd walk in there and see what's going on, introduce myself, get to know them. I mean, for me, it was like walking into baseball. I didn't know names, I didn't know faces, I didn't know anything. You know? But I thought I'd worked through this whole male-female thing. And all of a sudden, so I go in there and we're showing gut wrenches. You know, and I'm showing gut wrenches and we're going over guts and all of a sudden I'm thinking to myself, do I touch there? What do I touch? Do I say chest or breast? You know, and I'm like, so, and I left that practice really pissed off at myself because number one, I thought I'd worked through it. Number two, I realized that, you know what, this isn't their problem. This is my problem. They've been wrestling guys forever. This is my issue. And to the point is, treat them like athletes, not men or women. Damn it, you're my athlete in front of me. If I need to touch you, then I'm going to touch it. You know, I just did crouch flips on the spades. I'm not going to touch you in the groin anywhere, and I'm not going to think about it twice if I do. You know, on the wrestling, big deal. It's wrestling. Keep it straight. You know, I mean, if I'm out holding hands with spades on the street, you guys can look twice. If we're in here holding hands, then it's no big deal. It's wrestling. So I think athletes, you know, and Patricia Miranda got this in high school. Is all of a sudden his parents pissed off because she beat the son, and she just went up and said, listen, and she, you know, the athlete's not mad at her. The athlete's mad at their son for getting beat by a girl. And she went up and basically put the parent in line and said, hold it. I've been wrestling for years. Before it just started. I'm an athlete in the sport. I put more time into it. I put more energy into it. You know? Don't beat him up for getting beat by a girl. I'm just an athlete here. I'm another athlete. Look at it as that. You know, and I think that has to be sold as the coach too. And talk to the parents about it. You know? And looked at it like, oh, we have athletes in our and what? So that's one point. The other point is, do you think girls want to wrestle boys? No. Do you think Marion Jones wants to race against Carl Lewis? No. Okay? But they have enough to separate. We don't have enough yet. So at the beginner level, of the grassroots level, it's still together. Okay? But even in that sense, even as an educator in that sense, what high school boy couldn't use a little more respect on a girl in front of him? More than what he's looking at. You know, all of a sudden he sees that girl struggling every day because she's wrestling a boy that can kick her ass probably. And she keeps getting back up. And she keeps running sprints. And she keeps going through the fight. You know? You can't tell me that high school boy isn't going to walk out of that room at the end of a year and have more respect for that female opponent. You know? They're going to have a different sense of respect. You know, and that's education. Okay? That's education. That's life lesson and life skills. And that's again back to what are we doing? Why are we don't think twice about Taekwondo class. There's touching there, judo, karate. We don't think twice about sending our daughters there. I see it all the time. And I hear it all the time. All of a sudden we're wrestling and there's a different feel. I think if you're black and white as a coach and you explain it and break it down to your boys on the team in a way that, hold it, she's going to be in this room and she's going to work just like you. She's going to be asked the same things as you were. If I ask you to do 100 sprints, she's doing 100 sprints. If you're doing 100 push-ups, she's doing 100 push-ups. And you treat them as an athlete instead of a male and female. Okay? I think that your boys are going to leave that room and it's not going to be a big thing. I mean, I've been over to Hawaii now for a few years doing their state clinic. And they have more of an Asian influence. So again, it's just a martial art over there. They're in the same I walked in the first time, I was amazed. I walked in, practice room, 60 kids in. About 40 boys, about 20 girls, drilling. Switch partners. They just switch partners. Girls with boys, boys with girls. It was like, they didn't know if they were male or female. You know, they didn't care. But I think